Welcome back to the Dine and Dash channel. It's your boy GC. We are going to Hong Kong and we're flying out of SFO. Gotta hit up the Centurian Lounge. Got a little light snack and some drinks before we headed out. So they had like some chicken, some eggplants, potato fingers, broccolini, cookies, and this red stuff is actually like a ginger beet pressed juice. I also got some chartreuse in the back, which is hard to find nowadays. And we had a 13-hour flight, so pretty much just messed around with the TV and then slept and got there. And I haven't been back to Hong Kong since 2009, so it's been a while. Some things I remember, some things I don't. I do realize that there's not that many people in the streets anymore, like back in the days. Anyways, met up with my aunt and we went to Pt.1, which is a Michelin star dim sum restaurant. Anyways, first thing you gotta do when you go to Hong Kong and China restaurants, you gotta rinse out your bowls and utensils with the hot tea. That's just like been around forever, and that's what they always do. Even though if it's clean, you just do it anyways. First thing we ordered is a like frosted skin barbecue pork bun. I've never had anything like this, but it's pretty cool. The outside's kind of flaky, and then inside you do get your sweet barbecue, juicy, almost like a honey barbecue pork bun. So to me, I thought it was pretty interesting. It's kind of cross between a dessert and something savory at the same time. Anyways, next up, another favorite is actually the cilantro beef rice rolls. So this is pretty much beef wrapped inside cilantro and a rice noodle wrap. So generally, you usually put this sweet soy sauce up in there and a little bit of hot sauce. At the same time, on the other side, we have something which is kind of like a fried donut mochi or something, but it has pork inside. It's pretty savory, pretty good. At the same time, we got some chicken feet. We've got some Chinese meatballs, which you pour a little bit of Worcestershire sauce on. And it's also got some tofu skin on the bottom. And here we're going back to the rice wrap, which has the beef up in there. And the beef, man, it's like super soft and succulent, man. The way they like make it, it just goes down like nothing. And lastly, another main staple is the shrimp dumplings, which wasn't bad either. After that, we were in a rush to go check in at the hotel, drop our stuff off. We're actually staying at a 5-star hotel. This is the Cordis Hotel. I had just got the Amex Platinum, so I had to use up some of my hotel credit. So I made the price of this for 2 nights for half off, which only made it about $100 a night. And upon coming in, I was like, man, I was pretty amazed by the whole view and the whole presentation of the room. It's got one of those cool glass sinks, and even when you go up into the shower, they've got their own brand of conditioner, body wash, and shampoo. And they give you like all this good stuff, like a amenity kit that has like a bunch of stuff in there, including your toothbrush, a comb, a shower cap, vanity kit, something to sew your clothes together, lotion, and a bunch of other cool stuff. And also it's got like a pretty cool bathtub where you can have the privacy shades come on, or you could bathe with a view. And I believe we were staying on the 26th floor, so it was pretty high up there, man. So you get like a skyline view of kind of one side of Hong Kong. And this hotel is actually located in the Mong Kok area, so it was central to a lot of things that we wanted to go to, including the night market, bunch of shopping, and lots of food places. So want to be central to that. And also it's pretty close to my aunt's place, which I'll be staying after our 2 nights over here. Speaking of, we did have dinner at my aunt's, so she made some home style cooking with some rotisserie chicken, some egg with bitter melon, and a steamed fish. I'm not sure what kind of fish that is, but the rotisserie chicken was where it's at. It was extra juicy, soft, supple, easy to go down, and plenty of flavor. So after dinner, we went over to the Temple Street Night Market. Pretty famous for its street food. It's like a whole street just full of street foods and all. Now, I wasn't like super hungry, so we just wanted to walk through it and see what we can find that was interesting to eat. And my favorite thing is I always want to get the curry fish balls. That's what like I always remember the night markets to be. But you can get a bunch of skewered stuff, barbecue stuff, like chicken wings, sausages, mushrooms. This is definitely a lot more than I've seen than before. Because now I'm seeing a lot more than what I used to see. There's more like foods that's actually from China, Taiwan. I've even seen like Indian and Middle Eastern stuff over there, or Mediterranean stuff. So it's pretty interesting where it's not just tied to like Chinese food. As you can see right here, some guys selling like some samosas. Lots of skewer stuff though. That's what I do see. On top of that, a bunch of like desserts and boba places. So that was something that I didn't really see back in the days. But as we walk further to the back, we found this place called the Hong Kong Local Snacks Taste Pavilion. I'll say this place looks pretty cool, man. So let me try that out. And I was only wanting to get like a light snack. So first thing you do, they got all the stuff that they make laid out in front of you. And you kind of just grab like the basket and you pick whatever you want to throw in there. There's like fish ball, beef balls. You know, there's leek on there, there's chicken, there's beef, pork, anything that you can just throw on the grill to barbecue, you could do that with. For me, I really want my curry fish balls. That's like a staple to Hong Kong street food. So basically, fish balls is just kind of like a pounded fish paste kind of made into a ball. And then you cook it and add some curry sauce to it. And it just has such a nice curry flavor to it. Also, we got the grilled corn and one stick of the beef skewers, which they put a little bit of cumin on there, so it gives like a nice spice to it. Look how juicy that is, and look at all the texture that it has from there. A little burntness to it to give it that barbecue flavor. And since it's street food, you kind of just like find a corner, park yourself there, and kind of just eat, man. That's the whole point of the street food. It's something quick that you get. Something where the locals get off late after work and, you know, they just find some grub before they go back home. I actually really like the corn. They actually painted some type of sauce to it, and it had like a little sweetness to it, but it had like some seasoning to it as well, so it had good flavor. Now this is the famous Hong Kong iced tea, and this basically made of iced tea and lemon and honey. Some people use like dextrose as a sweetener, but it's so good. I could drink like 10 of these, man. But yeah, one of my favorite Hong Kong drinks. Very refreshing, especially on a hot day. So pretty much that does conclude our first day in Hong Kong. And after we went back to the hotel, got some rest, for the next day, we had a lot to do. We actually was going to try out the buffet up inside the Cordis Hotel. And I'm not sure what the name is for this place because they didn't really have a sign. But my Amex actually gave me $100 food credit towards the hotel, which the best option was to use on the buffet. Now the buffet was only for about $35 a person. And the selection is actually great in this place. They even gave you a great selection of tea. I actually got the green tea right here. And if you check it out, we went for breakfast, so they had a lot of breakfast foods like the congee, which is a rice porridge, and you can customize it to whatever you want to put in there, including the 1,000-year egg. You got the chives, you could put ginger in there, all that good stuff. And this is a staple Chinese breakfast that you would have. A lot of times you would eat that plain if you weren't feeling good. And they even have some of the breakfast pastries and also the Hong Kong famous milk tea, which you can make. We got some soy milk right here and fruit. We've got watermelon. They've got cantaloupes and dragon fruit. Jello was amazing. They actually had my favorite, the red version, after I left. And check out all the desserts that they got. They got the Vita soy. They got some pudding, some cow pico, yogurts, bunch of stuff that you can make for breakfast. I'm not that much of a breakfast person, but I will get a little bit here and there just to try. Like, check it out. We got the waffle right there. Got the famous Ovaltine right here, which is like your malt flavored milk. And they had some more dim sum type of items as well. And then they've got the Portuguese egg tart, pineapple bun, sausage bun. This is what you would find in a lot of Hong Kong bakeries. So this whole buffet is a lot of Hong Kong style foods that you would find, and then some. There was actually some Japanese stuff as well, like the tofu right there, edamame. This is a type of fungus. This is a type of seaweed right here. And one of my favorites, this is like a mackerel sashimi. Love that stuff. It's super fishy, but very good in omega-3. So we've got stuff to even make your own charcuterie with, and also things to make your own salads with. So since I'm in Hong Kong, I decided to get some different flavored stuff because I'm going to eat a lot of this stuff that you see elsewhere. So I just wanted to get stuff that you don't normally get. And since this is more of the breakfast buffet, you're going to see a lot of stuff that's breakfast oriented. Like you'll get your sausages, they'll make your own omelet over here. There's like some grilled chicken, stir-fried mushroom, bunch of stuff. Like half of the stuff I didn't even try because there was just so many things there. Bacon. I didn't get too much of like the American stuff, but there was the dim sum, which I had to try a few things here and there. But since it's a buffet, a lot of the stuff, you know, you're going to get at the restaurant's going to be a lot better. And right here, they actually have a famous street food from Hong Kong. They actually call these the cart noodles. Back in the days, they would actually have like carts, kind of like the ones you see in Japan where they do the ramen in a cart. And they would just make noodles and stuff like that. You tell them how you want it to be made, and they'll make it for you. So it's a pretty customizable dish. I wanted it with more of this like spicier broth. And then you can add even more chili peppers to it. There's peanuts. You can add to it deep fried garlic, your sauces. I like to throw a little bit of everything in there. And I pretty much got like the flat noodle with the tofu skin and some enoki mushrooms and lettuce. So it was pretty good, very hearty. And it was just enough so I could get some like chow mein right here. And then they had this right here. It was like a fresh pressed juice with like celery and apple. And here's the pineapple bun and the egg tart pastries. They were pretty good. I didn't really touch any of this stuff right here because that's just like way too much sugar and carbs. So I want to save more room for like the real food. But you can get that if you want. You could also customize your own cereal and add all types of fruits and everything to it. Here we got the millet right here. It has like raisins and oatmeal in there. That was pretty interesting, man. It was like eating an oatmeal cookie, but with more like dairy in there. Now, here's the best part right here. It's called the Gongsik Nai Cha, which is the Hong Kong style milk tea, which is pretty much a cross between like English tea made in the Chinese twist. And what you do is you add the tea, the evaporated milk, and a little bit of the condensed milk up in there for sweetness. You get this combination of just the blissfulness of the tea and the heaviness of the milk, plus a hint of sweetness. It just combines so well together. Now between 6 and 7 there is an intimate wine tasting. You can actually get a free tasting from the hotel, which I didn't have time to do because we were in such a rush. So we actually had to head over to meet up some friends. So we had to head over to Tsui, where we could catch the ferry over to Hong Kong Island. That's right, the real Hong Kong is actually across this bay right here. Now right here we are at the Avenue of Stars, which is your equivalent of the Walk of Fame on Hollywood Boulevard. You do have a lot of your like actors and actresses that have their own kind of like plate that they have their hands imprinted on, and it's kind of like riddled across the whole entire area right here. So you'll see like a lot of tourists, they'll come over here and take pictures and stuff like that. And here's the famous Bruce Lee statue from like the movies. I always thought this statue was like super big, but it's actually life size. So you'll see like a lot of people come over here to try to take pictures and stuff like that. Now to get on the ferry, it does cost 30 Hong Kong dollars, which will run you about less than $4. So that's not too bad of a price to hop on, especially since it costs you guys like $8 across the Bay Bridge in San Francisco. So when you board, you have the option to sit down, or you can hang out on the balcony and check out the nice view. So I decided to do a little bit of both, but I spent most of the time chilling outside. You can feel the breeze, and at the same time you get a way better view, like a panoramic view of the entire Hong Kong Bay. And the ferry's not even that long. It only takes about like 15 minutes to get all the way across. And for transparency, we did take this ferry on a different day because we missed it the first time. That's why I'm wearing something different. But I figured I'd weave it into the video to make it relevant. So anyways, we met up with my wife's friends over in Hong Kong Island. And this is pretty much the central area of Hong Kong. And you know, the first thing we gotta do is we gotta get us some food. So we went to this hole-in-the-wall Michelin star place called Tsui Noodle House. And they're basically known for like the one thing, which is their beef brisket noodle soup. And that's what we all basically got. And so once you order it, it comes out like super fast. You do get some of the beef brisket, a little bit of tendon in there, and some pieces have like meat and a tendon in there, which I love the combination of both. The broth was actually really good. I did find that the beef stew or the beef brisket was a little bit on the chewier side, but not bad. Had to put a little bit of hot sauce in it because I just love hot sauce and everything. So this is one of those places where you just go in, order what you want to eat, you eat and get the hell out, because nobody got time for you to be hanging out loitering and stuff like that, because they only have maybe like 4 or 5 tables to sit people, and they do get busy. But luckily when we got there, it was kind of empty and was like after lunch hour, so we got to take our time. But yeah, man, I kind of wish that there was like the rice noodle for this dish, because if they did, I would have got that. That's my favorite noodle to go with it. But all in all, it was pretty good. I give it about like 4 out of 5. Now we did go to the subway, and I found out there's this place called Healthworks, and it's like just sitting in the middle of the subway, and I noticed they had drinks, and I was kind of like thirsty from after eating that noodle soup. So they got this one place where they make like a bunch of like fresh drinks, and some of these are made with like kumquat. They got sugarcane juice. They've got like herbal tea and a bunch of other stuff, ginseng, and they're all like health beneficial drinks. So some of it's good for your liver, your spleen, your joints, what say you. And so I ended up getting the 5-flower tea. My wife got the 24 herbs tea, and these are like really good for cleansing, and you eat a lot of like hot and unhealthy foods, then you know you might need this to cool you off. So what I got was actually like perfect. My wife's one was like super bitter, but she needed something healthy anyways. After that, we went to the tram that took us to Victoria's Peak, which is like one of the highest points in Hong Kong Island. Kind of like if you're from San Francisco, it's like Twin Peaks. But except you have to take a tram up there, or you can walk, but it takes a whole hour to walk up there. And we're like, hell no. I believe it costs you like $10 there and back. It only takes a couple minutes to get up there, but when you get up there, it is pretty high up. It's pretty breathtaking when you get up there. At the same time as you're going up, you notice like some of these high rises are as tall as this peak. But once you get to the building up top, it's kind of like pay to play. So there's a bunch of like shops up there and other attractions that you can pay to do, or you actually could pay to get to the highest point so you can get nice pictures and stuff. But we wasn't going to pay for all that. We was just like sneaking around to see if we could find like a nice view up there to like get pictures in. And as you can see, like there's a lot of levels to it. This right here was actually a decent spot. It was right next to a Burger King. And if you walk off to the side, there's like this like temple tea house area. You could actually get a pretty good view, except like everyone's over there trying to get pictures. So on the lower deck, there's an even better spot that no one knows about. So that's where we took a lot of pictures at. There were other locations, but they were like kind of a hike to get there. Now I noticed there was a place called Monopoly Dreams, and it's kind of like a Monopoly attraction. And me and my wife, we love Monopoly. Like we have a bunch of board games at home. So we decided to actually pay for this attraction. And it was pretty cool. You have to see like these limited edition Monopoly boards. Like this is like the world's biggest board piece. And so you get to see a lot of like history about Monopoly. Also, they have like things you could do. Like this one right here is where you could just go in there and catch the money. And the cool thing about it is like whatever money that you catch, you could use that money towards buying stuff at the gift shop. So I ended up getting like some pretty cool gifts and keychains and stuff like that. I do have more footage of that place, but maybe I'll make that in another video. So anyways, after we chilled up at the peak, it was time to go back down. And after that, it was time to go get some more food. So after the tram down, we actually had to ride the train back over the other side of the waters, and then we were going to eat this other Michelin star place, and this place is called Hing restaurant, and this place is actually really known for their clay pot rice. As you can see, Mark Wien's up on there, and they open at like 5 p.m. So we was like the first ones there. But as soon as we got in line, like hella people came and they started like to queue up. So they actually like have a big name, and you know, everyone goes there because it's super popular now. And so upon looking at the menu, they had a big old menu. I thought like they just had like a few things on there, but they had a lot of things, man. The cool thing is they have like seats made on the side so you could like wait while they seat you, and they just seat you all at once. So as soon as we get in, you kind of just order. So we all order like different clay pots of rice. One of them is like the beef and egg. This one's actually the frog legs. This one I got, which is the Chinese sausage and preserved pork belly. And then they give you this sweet soy sauce that you put on there and just makes it super savory. And it just brings out the flavors of the rice and the meats together. Now what they do with these clay pots is they fill it with the rice and they start adding all the meats and stuff like that. And they throw it on this very high heat fire. And so when it cooks the rice, it cooks it super fast. And it usually leaves the side of the rice very crispy. And a lot of people love it for its crispiness, because that crispy rice, you can eat it after you eat the rice itself, kind of like a chicharron. And right here, this is actually the fried dried oysters, and you get a little bit of this like sweet and tangy sauce to throw on there. I thought it would be spicy, but it actually wasn't. You do get a lot of oyster flavor in it, and I pretty much think this is probably the best thing that we had on the menu. Now people were going to judge me for this, but I didn't think the clay pot was the best like people were saying. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt that we were the first people in line, so they were ill prepared for us or something like that, because I know how that could be. But I might have to try this again just to like see how it is, because it was lacking, man. It didn't even have the crispy rice when we got it. So like the flavors were good and all, but I'm gonna have to go back next time and see. Now, you know, I gotta have some dessert. So we went to Kai Kai Desert, and this is by the Jordan Station area. And this is supposed to be another Michelin star place. Check it out, all the awards they got. As far as the Michelin star stuff I got, I'd say this was probably the best Michelin star thing I had out in Hong Kong. I don't know why they were giving out these Michelin stars to a bunch of these other restaurants like that, but maybe I'm just picky as hell, or maybe I got like higher standards. I don't know, but this place was actually pretty good. We all got like different desserts and stuff like that. And for like the dessert spots, man, this is probably one of the more pricey dessert spots I've been. But it was actually quality, man. A lot of stuff's made fresh. Like I ended up getting the red rice with mango and coconut milk. I got two actually. I got the other one. This is like the mango sago right here, which is like pretty much pureed mango with tapioca and pomelo and fresh cut mangoes in there. Now the clear one up top, that is the white fungus papaya dessert, and that comes kind of hot, but is a very popular Chinese dessert. Now my red rice is actually more mashed. I sometimes like it where it's more whole, because I like a little chew to mine, but otherwise it wasn't bad. I'm used to things being a little bit more sweeter in the US, so this one wasn't as sweet, but that doesn't take away from its good flavor though. So I would definitely go there again. Now this place right here is another dessert place, and we actually went to both. There's like two places side to side. I don't know the names of these places because they're in like Chinese and I cannot read it. So yeah, right next door there's another one, and you kind of hang out in the alleyway. But that's how you do it, man. We were just like looking for stuff and was like, hey, let's try this. So this place actually has like the real version of the herbal jelly. And this guy is supposed to be making the real deal version, because the real deal herbal jelly actually has your herbs, and they have ground up turtle shell into there. Now they say the turtle shell is supposed to have like good benefits for you, especially for your skin and all that. And this dessert is supposed to be the tofu with the black sesame paste on there. And this tofu is actually like almost between a cross between pudding and jello. So it's not like tofu that you're used to, but it's pretty good. You get flavors of a little bit of ginger, a little sweetness, tofu, along with the black sesame. So if you're in Hong Kong, you're going to see a lot of street food. So you kind of just walk up to whatever you think is good and just grab it. Now we got some of the egg puffs, and I was thirsty, so I got some fresh squeezed cane juice. Cane juice was so sweet, so good. So after that, we actually went to have dinner again, and we went to Jervois Cafe, and this is what they call a cha chan tang, which is pretty much a Chinese version of a American style diner. And they have these like all over Hong Kong, and it's like pretty much you're getting food that's a cross between like Western food and Chinese food put together because of the British influence. Now, being in Las Vegas, we don't have any restaurants like this, and even if they did, they don't last for long. And so basically, these diners, you kind of get something you would consider like a Chinese comfort food. So very basic stuff like a macaroni soup. You get it with the grilled chicken. And a lot of these things come in a set order. So whatever you order usually comes with like a choice of milk tea. You get a slice of toast. You get like breakfast stuff. And it's served throughout the day. What I really love is this right here. This is the baked pork chop over fried rice. And so they put like cheese and tomato sauce together on this. And I'm telling you, there's not too many places that serve this in the US outside of California. And I'm telling you, those who are like new to Hong Kong, you guys gotta seek out this dish. This is one of the best dishes ever. Because you get some of this tomato sauce, which is kind of like sweet, a little tanginess to it, and the cheese. And when you mix it up together with the rice, it just tastes so good. I guess everybody in Hong Kong, they love them some Gordon Ramsay style eggs. So they like their eggs kind of like watery and fluffy. And if you were to ask them for scrambled eggs, this is their way of doing it. It is the British style. So if you catch me on the next Hong Kong video, you will see me eating a lot of stuff like this because this is what you would consider Hong Kong's favorite breakfast. So out of all the things I've ate so far, this was one of my favorite places. And the macaroni soup is like something basic, but it just tastes so good with everything. And the baked pork chop over rice, oh my goodness. Anyways, that's all I have for the Dine and Dash channel. Catch me next time. This is your boy GC. I will see you on the next one. Thank you for watching.